Picking piles. Whether it's your choice or your opponent's, it's one of Magic's most skill-intensive moments. Whether it's fact or fiction, gifts ungiven, or steam augury, this single moment can change the entire outcome of a game. The one to end them all, though, is Doomsday. Doomsday is 3 black mana for a sorcery that reads, search your library and graveyard for 5 cards and exile the rest. Put the chosen cards on the top of your library in any order. You lose half your life rounded up. Decks built around Doomsday used to be found in formats like Vintage and Legacy, before bannings around Sensei's Divining Top and restrictions on Lion's Eye Diamond took the deck down. These days, you'll find decks built around Doomsday in competitive commander circles, with commanders like Kirik, son of Yawgmoth, Anje Falkenrath, and Zur The Enchanter. Although the commander's color identity can change the specifics of the deck, the game plan revolves around this key moment where you search for 5 cards, stack the deck, and then try to win from there. For example, with Kirik on board, a Street Wraith, and 3 floating mana, Doomsday could grab Golos' Citadel, Aetherflux Reservoir, Carrion Feeder, Gravecrawler, and 1 other card. First, draw into your Golos' Citadel using Street Wraith's cycling ability by paying 2 life. Use your floating mana and Kirik's ability to pay 6 life to replace the 3 black mana in order to cast Golos' Citadel. Using the Citadel, use your life to play the top cards of your deck, playing Aetherflux Reservoir for 4 life, Carrion Feeder for 1 life, and finally Gravecrawler for 1 life. You can then sacrifice Gravecrawler with Carrion Feeder to place a +1/+1 counter on Carrion Feeder. You can then use Kirik's ability to pay life to recast Gravecrawler from the graveyard, since we have a zombie on board with Carrion Feeder. You'll then gain life from Aetherflux Reservoir seeing you cast Gravecrawler. You can then repeat this process by sacrificing Gravecrawler to Carrion Feeder and using Kirik's ability to pay life to recast Gravecrawler in order to gain an infinite amount of life from the Aetherflux Reservoir. You can then funnel this life into Aetherflux Reservoir's activated ability to shoot down your opponents and close out the game. Anje Falkenrath, on the other hand, can win with 2 Madness cards and 1 black and 1 colorless in the mana pool. With Doomsday, grab Worldgorger Dragon, Animate Dead, Avacyn's Judgment, and 2 other cards. Activate Anje Falkenrath's activated ability and discard a card with Madness to draw your Worldgorger Dragon. This will then untap Anje since the card discarded has Madness. You can then tap Anje again and discard Worldgorger Dragon to draw Animate Dead. Now, cast Animate Dead with your 1 black and 1 colorless to reanimate Worldgorger Dragon. Worldgorger Dragon will enter the battlefield and then will exile all of your other permanents, including all of your lands and Animate Dead. This in turn will cause Worldgorger Dragon to go to the graveyard since Animate Dead has left the battlefield. With the dragon leaving play, it will then bring back all of your permanents untapped, including all of your lands. Now again, use Animate Dead to bring back Worldgorger Dragon, and holding priority, tap all of your lands to float mana. Now Worldgorger Dragon will enter, exile all of your permanents you control, and the loop will start over again, but now you're up mana. Do this an infinite amount of times until you have enough mana to finish off the table. Then, tap Anje and discard your other Madness card to draw your Avacyn's Judgment, and untap Anje. Finally, tap Anje and discard Avacyn's Judgment, paying the infinite mana into the spell's Madness cost to deal enough damage to finish off the table all at once. Because of the way Worldgorger Dragon and Animate Dead interact, you'll actually need to win the game at instant speed using the Madness cost, because otherwise, you'll draw the game because you're unable to stop the loop. Lastly, with Zur The Enchanter, you can call back to the classic Doomsday of Vintage and Legacy. In order to win, you'll need a Street Wraith in your hand, and at least 4 islands on the field. Cast your Doomsday, grabbing Gush, Gitaxian Probe, Lion's Eye Diamond, Yawgmoth Swill, and finally Laboratory Maniac. Start by drawing a card by cycling Street Wraith by paying 2 life. Cast Gush for its alternate casting cost by bouncing 2 islands to your hand to draw 2 cards, drawing you into Gitaxian Probe and Lion's Eye Diamond. Cast your Lion's Eye Diamond. Cast Gitaxian Probe for its Phyrexian mana cost by paying 2 life, and holding priority, crack Lion's Eye Diamond generating 3 black. You'll now have to discard your hand. Gitaxian Probe will now resolve, drawing you into your Yawgmoth Swill. You can now cast Yawgmoth Swill using your mana from Lion's Eye Diamond. Now, you can play any of the cards from your graveyard until end of turn. Recast Lion's Eye Diamond from your graveyard and crack it for 3 floating blue mana by discarding your empty hand. Recast Gitaxian Probe from your graveyard for its Phyrexian mana cost, paying 2 life, and draw into your Laboratory Maniac. Use the 3 floating mana from Lion's Eye Diamond to cast your Laboratory Maniac, and once it resolves, Recast Gush for its alternate casting cost by bouncing 2 islands to your hand. This in turn will cause you to draw, but since your library is empty, Laboratory Maniac will cause you to win. Although each of these commanders utilize a different avenue for winning the game, all of them use the incredibly powerful ability to search for 5 specific cards to create a game-winning combo, along with fitting the deck into those 5 cards. Since decks running Doomsday need to contain black in their color identity, the decks also have access to the assortment of other black tutors like Vampiric, Demonic, and Diabolic, which makes the deck more on the competitive side. Although powerful, these decks tend to be a glass cannon, since countering Doomsday often spells a loss of the game, and the intricate play pattern leaves a large margin of error. Knowing which cards to search for, how to sequence their ordering in the deck, and their effects on the stack require immensely skillful play to pilot, and that's why Doomsday is truly the end-all be-all.